So welcome to educational research too. For students or those who are doing honors degree, I think you are doing honors degree. And yes, of course, I've been a tutor for this course for quite a number of years now. And yes, my students have been performing well. Yeah, so this is just an introductory course for you, to help you understand some terminology in research, what research all about, for you to do now the other one research, which means the one you will, to help you do your thesis, where you come up with your topics, and so you go get data. So you have to find which research methodology are you going to use, or how to collect data, and how to structure your thesis. So that now this knowledge will help you do that. Okay. Yes, my name is Lucas Kahare. So as you can see on your question paper or on your assignment, okay, there is a name there, who's the tutor for this course, Mr. Kahare, and that's my email, and that is my phone number. So you can contact me during the week, Monday to Friday, from 5 to 6:30. So because during the day I'm really also busy. So we just like you guys, you are teachers. So during the day, 8 o'clock you are, or 7:30 you are always in the class. Okay, I know, because I was also a teacher at a secondary school. So though I'm teaching at a university, but I was a teacher at a secondary school, and I have experience on that one. So me too. So I have time now from 5 to 6:30. But sometimes, yes, you can contact me over the weekend also. Yes, at times you can, Saturday or so, you can also call me and ask questions concerning teaching and learning resources. So we are not just going to spend much time. So I'm just going to highlight you what's needed in the examination. So as you know that this is examination for 2022. For 3 examinations, okay, there are 3 examinations. First examination, media examination, then supplementary. Okay, so they only have one study guide, and also there are also a book there, okay, a book that you need to read. Yes, I think it's also posted on a student portal. Yeah, so there are 19 units in your study guides, so just go through that. And also revise the past examination question paper. It's very much important, revise those ones. And also your assignment. So I think there are also tutors' feedback after marking assignment or exam. I think they are also uploaded on the portal. Okay, yes, they are also uploaded on the portal, student portal. They read them. So what is, during the marking, there are some errors we pick up, what students are doing. So also read through those errors, okay? So that's Unit 1, evidence-based inquiry. That one about a research. So always ask a question like, what is the characteristic of a research? And what is research all about? So those are the other that you have to do. Okay, those are the things that you need to know. So this is just an image. So research, there's evidence-based inquiry research, and in this one, when you inquire, you get what knowledge, generation of knowledge. You generate knowledge, and this knowledge you generate is based on logical positivism and positive positivism, and interpretive or constructivist knowledge, which can make you to construct the knowledge, transformative, which can transform you to think different, okay, and pragmatives. And also research also guiding principles. There are guidance which help you to do your research. So for example, There are post-significant questions. There are some questions that you have to ask when you are doing a research. For example, you are going now to do maybe in a Ovamboland or in Capriviland. Okay, yes, of course, there's a land, or maybe in Kavango. So there are some research maybe you are going to do. Maybe you are a biologist, or yeah, of course, in this case, it's a educational research, your education. Maybe you want to find out how school performance, yes, in Ohangwena region or in Kavango East region. So there are some questions which will guide you to do your research. Okay. For example, how the schools, the school performance, you are going to look at, for example, the percentage of maybe student pass rate in grade 10 or in grade 11. So you are going to look at the gender now, okay, the number of female or male student, all those criteria. And also you are also going to look on how teachers' performance, for example, those regions or those schools which perform better than others. What are they doing? What are their logic? What is the secret behind? All those things, okay? It will guide you. Those are principles will guide you to get your information, okay? Or use appropriate methods, provide coherent reasoning, generalize or extend results, provide professional scrutings. And also characteristic of research, you learn about its objectivities and precisions, verifications, and so forth. Okay? Evidence-based inquiry research. Okay, research here, research here, it has what? It has characteristic, principle, guidance, and so forth. And here also research, talk about there are also steps that you need to know when you are doing research. There are some steps, how approaching to research, the function of research, and limitation of research. You see that? All this here, essential steps. Questions that you are going to ask, okay? Questions, for example, maybe the failure rate at some school. Why some school has higher failure rate than other schools? It's a question. Method, what method are you going to use to go in there to get result? Methods. Maybe are you going to do some interview, okay, collecting numbers of students, maybe those who pass, go interview students, go interview teachers, and the results. You are going to get the result, interpretation, and conclusions. Okay, interpretation interpretation is like interpreting data. Now, for example, you go and collect data in the field, then you write what those data, those numbers all about. Okay, maybe you put them in the in the Excel, or you interpret what is this the meaning. Okay, approach. Quantitative, how now are you going to use? Either you are going to quantitative or mixed method or qualitative. Okay, so quantitative, so we are also going to, all this, what is a qualitative, quantitative methods and mixed methods and qualitative. These are using just qualitative, mostly used in social science. Okay, so where you based on research theory, like you write based on the concepts, okay? But here, quantitative research is based on using on numbers, or you analyze the data, okay? You measure, you go in the lab, you measure, you analyze, you understand, all those kind of mixed, using both, okay? Either you are going to use quantitative and also qualitative. Functions, what do research do? Basic research, what are the basic research? Okay, so for example, you have to research. When you are going to teach in your classroom, you research on materials. Which materials are you going to use in your classroom to teach, to make teaching effective? Those are basic research. Applied research, okay, research which are being applied to give effect. And evaluation research. Evaluating research after having, maybe you carried out a research, then you evaluate how the performance, okay, how are the performance, you give on your idea, your evidence, and you watch out, is that the change maybe you give information. Things should be doing this A. Okay, teachers must always come early to school. Teachers must supervise learners, and all that you are done now there. Okay, as maybe you are a school inspector or principal, but that now find out those idea you enforce, are they working? So you evaluate now. Okay, that yes, if students, if teachers always supervise learners, this will increase. Or if learners always come to study, this, those you evaluate now based on the evidence or based on the rules, or yes, that you put into use. Okay, and action research, you go there and do it yourself. Okay, by doing that now, maybe you visit a school, you tell learners or teachers do A, B, C. Okay, you are doing action. That's one of them. Okay, limitation. There also research also has got limitations. There are limits. You can't just sometimes go and do your research. So there are some areas. There are some words which will forbid you. For example, you can't. Yes, you can do research on gender-based violence, what causes violence, and also, some of the, so you can't, some of the research you will try to do, but maybe some are discriminatory. Okay, those are things would also limit, and you also want to do research maybe in the government sectors. Maybe you want to do what causes corruption. So there are some limits. You go there, you won't get all the information. So what causes corruption and how corruption is going. So they will hide some of the information, or they won't even allow you, maybe some country, to do research about corruption. For example, maybe some government or some country which are higher, so they won't even, no, here you can't do research about corruption. We don't have corruption. So why should you do research on corruption? So why should you do? So, those are limits, some of the examples, okay? Or maybe diversity also, religious also can be. So why educational research is important? So please know that one also, why educational research is so important, okay? So they are very clear. So, it provides answer. For example, there is a failure rate of a secondary school. Why? So you go do research, you find out that maybe lack of books, you find out maybe there's lack of materials, you find out maybe there's lack of teachers, you find out that learners, maybe they are wrong teaching strategy which teachers are employing to use in their schools. Okay, you find out maybe those schools which perform low, they don't have necessary equipment or facilities. Maybe some schools in the north, their learners, sit in a tree. Some are even on the ground, they don't have chairs. So those are some of the things. Okay, those may be caused. So now you have to research on that one and get some answers. Okay, findings from educational research, special applied research, are instrumental to policy for reformulation. For researchers and other parties involved in this research approach, educational research improve learning, knowledge, skills, and understanding. Yes, of course, that's what. Okay, when you have discovered that, these are the factors which is bringing problem in student learning, so you solve them now. Or if there are some resources which is not being provided, so the school need to provide it through the community or through the government, and so forth. So it provides answers to our challenges in the education system, and that's the importance of research. Okay, it also, in educational research also, it will learn it will make academicians, okay, also to provide good ideas on how to go around or how to go about teaching and learning resources. Like in this time of now, it's a COVID we have, so we have to upgrade our education system. For example, we have to go online. We need more technology like internet connection. We need computers for our learners to connect, or to connect online for them to receive data. To receive lessons and homeworks and assignment from their teachers. So on those also it needs also research. Yes, characteristic of educational research, you know, that is what is educational research important, and also here the characteristics always there, okay? So now research, based on the characteristic, it depends on which research you are going to do. We saw that there are research methodology. There are quantitative and qualitative research. Based on this one, so you are going to follow the characteristic of that research methodology. Okay, a research methodology, or based on objectivity, precision, verification, okay, or logical or empiricisms or skepticisms, all that. So you are going to learn how characteristic of that education research methodology is. For example, in quantitative research, you're collecting information, drawing numbers, giving conclusion based on the numbers that are given, all that, okay, numerical data and so forth, okay? And that is also, know that one, the characteristic, things there, well explained in the book. So research process, okay? A research process is, which means you have to follow some questions and steps. Okay. So let's talk about research process. So for example, research process is the sequence that you need to follow. You know, you can't just jump to conclusion. So you can't just jump like, okay, there is we find out that at that school, learners are not performing because of the use drugs. But with maybe you just hear, but you never, you didn't do enough research. So there should be steps that you need to follow, okay? Which means research is conducted using a sequence of steps. For example, here, the researcher's goal is what? To obtain a credible answer to research questions by designing and what? Also by conducting the study and reporting data that others will view as truthful. That is reasonable answer that makes sense, okay? So when you are going to do, you make sure that the data you collected, your conclusion, your steps are good. And then when others will read that research paper or maybe your thesis, they are able to understand it. Yes, of course, this is right. He researched good, or she researched good topic. And this is what the conclusion is. So it's important. For example, research mostly involved in 5 essential sequence steps. Questions, you must have research questions. Without research question, what are you going to research? Because we research on because we have something, why things happening like this? So then for you to get the answer, you have to research on that one, okay? You have to research on that one. Even many, scientists, they look at why is the sun is hot. Okay, why is the star bright? They go there and make a research and conclude the star is bright like this. The sun is hot because of ABC. So all those things. For example, why is some tree grow near the river and some grow? All those are research. And in educational research, we are speaking about education system. Now, for example, you say maybe university now students, okay, they spend 4 years at a university or at a college, but after graduate, maybe they go to in the industry. They are not performing in industry, so it is in their field, but they are not performing. So then you said, what is wrong? You go, what is the university really teaching? And these learners, these students graduate, they are not performing. They have to stay there maybe for some quite number of years for them to learn the job, for them to understand. Okay? So that is what now a research question, you have to research on that one. For example, some student teachers, okay, or yes, in case maybe those who are graduating to go in the field of teaching, okay, and you find maybe the report is writing from the principal, these teachers who are completely, so maybe in terms of behavior, dressing code is poor, and they are always coming late to morning briefing. They come late to classes, like in the afternoon they don't want to come. All those things, the principal will write a report. So then you look out. So what was the training? What kind of training did these really teachers obtained from the university or from the college? And from there now you do research, how the training was, then you conclude, okay? And from that perspective, now you have to change the method or the curriculum being delivered at that college or at the university level in order to produce different graduates. You see that? That is just a research. Okay, you find, okay, this may be the problem. Then you get a method now which you are going to use, which you are going to employ for you to get the answers. Then after that, simply maybe you get a result, then you interpret, then you give a conclusion. Okay? So that is it. Research process, yes, that is what now, okay? Study include 5 steps in the following manner. So it's just like what I said previous, that a question is about what is the effect of feedback on student achievement. So in this case, we are trying maybe student right formative assessment, maybe formative assessment, okay? Or summative assessment. Let me, maybe, yeah, no, in this case is formative, assessment. For example, in the class, yes, you are teaching, yes, you are asking students if they understand, and also you ask them some question, or you just give them group discussion or activity. Then from there, you give them feedback, okay? Maybe you mark their papers in the class, then you give them feedback that, no, this is this, you did some wrong on this one. So then, okay, you employ that kind of teaching strategy, okay, in the classroom. Okay, after that now research, okay, if you do that, and also maybe if you don't really ask students, you just speak, or you just write on the chalkboard, you don't even ask students. And also another method, maybe yes, you teach, you explain, you give students to do some work, from there you mark them, then you give them paper. So how now, at the end, the performance, so which method with teaching technique is better for you? Okay, so those you employ, and that's what is, you are asking now the questions, okay? What if I do ABC, what is the achievement of the students? Okay, those are research questions. Methods, give different kinds of feedback and use tests for a sample of 10th grade students. Yes, okay? Give them different feedbacks. Those are methods maybe that we want to use. But in really research, talk about qualitative or quantitative, mixed method, and so forth. Results, student given specific feedback achieve more than student given general feedback. Okay, you see that now. Okay, for example, you give student some questions, some tests, okay, they write. Then after that, you give them feedback, what was wrong. Maybe you just generalize all student mistake what they did. And then later on again, you give them maybe a test. But in another feedback strategy, you discuss with each individual student. Okay, no, yes, you wrote mathematics here, you failed because of you did, so you didn't provide this method and so forth. Each student. So then you can see which method is better. So that's what now you will conclude that no, maybe one-on-one discussion with each student improves student performance, then just generalize teaching strategy generalize giving comments how student performed in the test. Okay? So you interpret the result, then conclusion. that student achievement can be increased by having teachers use specific feedback when grading students' work. That's the conclusion that you'll give. Yes, quantitative and qualitative research approach. Yes, these are the one we're talking about. Either you are, maybe if you are, will you employ using quantitative or qualitative method? A single reality measured by instrument, multiple reality interviews of principal, teachers, students about social situation. Qualitative, establish relationship between measured variables, procedure, sequential steps are established before study begins. Qualitative, understanding social situation from participant perspective, flexible changing strategy, design image as data are collected. Okay, all these are just research employed. For example, it's an assumption of about the world in terms of quantitative and qualitative research. Research purpose, why are you taking this research method and process, okay? How are you going to carry out the research? Prototype study, okay? And importance of context. So these are research characteristics, and this quantitative and qualitative. So constraint on educational research that prohibits or that strict research. As I said, there's a legal and ethical consideration. Yes, public changing institutions, they are changing program variability, their diversity, human situations, complexity of research problems, methodological difficulties. So these are some of the factors or some of the evidence inquiry that restrict research. Okay, as I said, legal and ethical consideration. Some of the things you can't do research because of ethics groups or race. So you can't choose only to do some research on some maybe ethics or tribes, why they do this, and so it's like discriminatory. Public or changing institutions. Okay, maybe public's ideas or opinions on your research that you are about to embark on. Okay, variability of research of programs. Programs are varied. Maybe you want to do research on curriculum at certain university. So what you must consider all this kind of diversity and so forth. So they are clearly explained, and these are which constraint restrict research to be taken place. To take place. Research design. Okay, research design and reading research articles. So mixed research. We talk about research design. Research design consists of quantitative and qualitative, or either mixed or analytical. Okay, how to design now your research. Design, which means which research methodology you are going to use. Okay, if you are going to use quantitative, there are experimental and non-experimental. These are true experimental, quasi-experimental, single subjects. And this is a descriptive research, comparative research, comparing figures, correlational research, survey research, ex post factor research. Okay, all this. So just an example of research design. So you have also to go through those concepts. Research design and reading research articles. Yes, of course, that's one. Here, quantitative research and qualitative research. How are you going to take it? Reading research. You read research books or review research evaluation. From here, you read research. Qualitative, you have chosen now either quantitative or qualitative. So you reading now research books, you read and do more, and from there you evaluate. What now here for the research design for quantitative, you must write abstract. These are social study abstract. Then introduction, research problem on purpose. Review literature, you have to read some literature review based on the topics. Research hypothesis, hypothesis or questions. and then methodology that we are going to use, result, discussion, implications, conclusions, and references. This is a method of quantitative research, like in social study, social science, or even in your area of education. And also here is actually employed by in engineering or technical area. They write just introduction, then from there, methodology. They jump just to methodology, which they are going to use. Finding and interpretations, they are going to write, and then conclusion, reference. So this is now. So which means the research in social study and the technical area, they are total difference, okay? Some of the, in technical area, I know that, so you don't need to get a research problem and collecting data in the community, interviewing people. You don't need to interview people, okay? For example, maybe you want to design some app, okay? Some app which maybe the phone which is going, maybe app which can increase learning in student. Okay, you just, you research on how to design, technical. Okay, introduction, you write, okay, this research will do how to increase learning in students, so it will help teachers teach their learners, so it will be able to upload videos, all that, just introduction. Then research methodology, maybe qualitative research methodology. Then finding and interpretation. So then you are going just to write how that app works. Okay, then a conclusion, then you give reference, some of the information where you get that. Okay, that's in the area of technical, but social, you see a lot here. You must quest a research problem, papers, literature review, and so forth. Okay. So research problem, question, and the hypothesis. Okay. The source, general research problems. General research problems consist, you must have the source of that, and you have some significant criteria, and you must have a research question problem, like quantitative problem formulation, and also the qualitative problem formulation, and mixed either. You choose either quantitative or qualitative. You must choose each how to formulate the problem of this one, and the sources, okay, by personal experience, application theory, related literature, current issues, practical situation, personal insight, replication, and so forth. Yeah, so we are soon about to, so just to finish, for you to just to know the main point of the examinations. So like here, general research problems consist of this one also, quantitative research problem, logic, and this qualitative, inductive, central questions. These are research general problems, and mixed research is each one which you have to use, you have to understand to follow the steps. So problem and research questions formulation in quantitative research, okay? For example, we have to write abstract construction. You must become up a variable. A variable is just, independent variable, dependent variable, okay? So the evidence, or which, your main idea where you are going to concentrate, where you are concentrating on your research, okay? A failure rate, okay, of that one. Operational definitions, okay? In research, an abstract concept is called constructs. For example, often derived from theory, construct expresses the idea behind the asset, the set of particulars. For example, construct are motivation, intelligence, thinking, anxiety, self-concept, achievement, or aptitude. Okay, variable is perhaps the most frequent used word in quantitative research is called a variable. A variable, what's a variable? It's a name or label that represent concept or characteristic. It's a name, maybe a failure rate. What is the, why students are failing? So failure, okay, maybe a variable, okay, independent variable. Dependent on independent variables. The idea of variable close the way of describing and explaining experimental studies. Okay, so those are just, if you go through, you will understand what is. For example, you know that independent and dependent variable. Dependent variable is the main one. The cause of the problem, maybe the failure, and then independent variable, the effect. What is the effect of failure? Okay, and so forth. Or maybe study. Okay, what is the, if you are not studying, what's the result? So hypothesis is a tentative statement of the expected relationship between two or more variables. So hypothesis, okay? Two or more variable comparable. Then you give a result. You are based on your conclusions on that one, okay? And example of research problems, research hypothesis and null hypothesis. Okay, research problems, research hypothesis, null hypothesis. Okay, or yes, what is the effect of ELL workshop on a confidence of teachers? Okay, these are research problem or research questions, that's it. And then research hypothesis, what are you going now to find? Teachers attending an ELL workshop will show greater confidence in working with EL students than teachers not attending the workshop. Okay, that is a research hypothesis, a null hypothesis. There is no difference in confidence in working with EL students between teachers who do or who don't attend EL workshop. There is no relationship between the amount of technology used by teachers and student achievement. So this one gives the difference between two variables, and here now trying that no, to conclude that there is no difference, either those who attend workshop or those who don't attend workshop has no difference, or either technology used by teachers and those technology used by learners has no effects, no relationship related to that one. So literature review is for you to read and what others has written, what others has discovered so far. So the purpose of literature review, always here, for example, what is the purpose of literature? Define research problems, establish framework, develop significance, identify methodological limitation, identify contradicting findings, develop research hypothesis. That's why you read literature review. Standard of adequacy, selection of literature, summary and analysis of literature relate to current study, and also search steps, help you also to search steps or to find topics or identify database where to find some software and so forth. And also internet searches, strength and weakness. You find all this by reading literature review. What is the point of internet searches? Their strength, the weakness, the search engine, and types of literature review. Yes, the types of literature review can review for quantitative research is this one, and the review for meta-analysis review is this one. Review for qualitative research is this, or example types now. So review, so if you have taken qualitative research methodology, you read on that one, literature review based on qualitative research. But if both mixed, you will do both quantitative research review and qualitative research literature review. Okay, type of literature review, their primary source, you know this, the first resource, and secondary source, some other sources. I mean, after, you know, this, okay, let me say, okay, thank you. So, yeah, primary source is one in which original data and first-hand information are used. Okay, and here secondary source, summarize, review, analyze, discuss primary source information. So just getting their source from the primary source. Okay, primary source, the first information, and secondary is getting their information from the primary source. Okay, that's what secondary. secondary school, primary school, the first one always then come the second one. Yeah, so we are just going. So you must also read this one, step in conducting literature review. So step 1, identify topic and key terms of your research. Then identify database and access location. Where are you going to get the information? Step 3, conduct searches. Get some search now, okay? Where you are going to get based on the database that you get or location, you go there. Maybe you are going to get your database at information, go there, at school, go there and visit the school. Or at the internet database, go there and search the database. Then identify source as a primary or secondary. So those information you go there, are they secondary or primary source? Okay, you have to identify. Then step, evaluate and analyze. Okay, those are steps of conducting literature review. So here's, I'm also advising you I put most of the activity, even the previous also, I gave them also all this Unit 1, Unit 2, practice those activities. So if you practice those activities, so you will have understanding for the examination, okay? Just do all these activities, go through, get your time, and revise through those activities. These are your homeworks, okay? Exercise or homeworks, do all these activities. And these are book in your study guide. They are there, those activities. And also some answers, you get them in other books, okay? So there are a lot. You see up to Unit 19. Much description, page 9.2, page 315, okay? So that's all, dear students. So we are done for the question paper examination tutorial. So please, yes, I wish you all the best for all these 3 examinations 2020. So take care from COVID, okay? Take care. I thank you.